Mhm.
And
Yeah.
I'd like to welcome you all to our Thursday 1:30 p.m. session today with Cyber Seniors, once again, where Annie will be talking about Google Docs on mobile devices. Thank you so much for coming on. Annie, if you could introduce yourself and your topic for today. Again, I'm there as tech support. Make sure you'll stay on for our poll at the end. And thank you so much for coming on. Annie, the floor is yours. Thank you
Thank you
so
so
much.
much. Thank you for that, Alex. I'm gonna turn off my video so I have better reception for the slideshow in case I have a little bit of slow internet today. So let me turn off my video. Oh, actually, first, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Annie. I work for Cyber Seniors, so the name is here, right? I work for that organization. What we do at Cyber Seniors is helping seniors with the use of their electronic devices, as well as technology and different applications that we all use these days, such as the one we are going to discuss today. So now that I have introduced myself, I'm going to turn off my video so you won't see me, but you will see my slideshow. And I'm going to share my screen so you can see that. And I hope that you can get to see this. So I hope all of you can see my screen right here. And I assume it is the case because I can see it myself. Alex, can you confirm? Okay. All right. So I'm going to discuss today Google Docs. And we are going to start, of course, with our disclaimer. So keep in mind that presentations serve to educate and should not replace professional judgment. The opinions and facts shared belong to the individual participants and do not necessarily reflect those of Cyber Seniors unless stated otherwise. Cyber Seniors does not endorse the content provided and is not responsible for its accuracy or completeness. Please note that sessions are recorded in audio and video formats and may be shared through different media platforms without further notice. Now, with the disclaimer out of the way, so let's start with what is exactly Google Docs. So Google Docs is a free program created by the American tech giant
On mute.
known
Okay.
as
All right.
Google. Okay. This application allows you to edit and create beautiful Word documents, such as the one you see on the right side, right? Like a recipe. You can also create professional resumes and attractive posters. If you are part of a community and you are doing some sort of activities, you can use Google Docs to create different kind of information that you can deliver to that community. This program is very similar to the known Microsoft Word, right? From the Microsoft Office suite, and is another type of word processor. So Google Docs and Microsoft Word are applications known as word processors. There are certain benefits of using Google Docs. So for instance, one of the best, I would say, is the fact that it's a free application. Unlike the Word application, Google Docs features are free. You don't need to pay to have access to all the functions the application offers. In Microsoft Word, you may need to pay for some functions, and the more complex the functions are, likely you will have to have some sort of premium account to be able to make the best of Microsoft Word in comparison to Google Docs. There are unique functions such as the voice typing. What this means is that instead of you having to use a touch screen and use the touch keyboard, you can use your voice and it will transcribe it into the Google document you are trying to create. And lastly, here on your right side, security. Essentially, you can create documents and you can decide how other people view your documents if you want to share them. You can choose whether people views your documents, edits your documents at the same time you may be doing it, or even make suggestions or comments in the documents. The cons of using Google Docs. So there is no much design formatting options in this application. in comparison to the Microsoft Word application when it comes to designing things. Unlike Word, Google Doc is not very efficient in positioning images in documents. So if you have to position the image in a document, sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to do so. The templates with shapes and banners are not as big in the quantity you have to create from. And also if you use tables to format a table is tricky as well. Still, Google Documents is much easier to use than Word. So if you don't need anything really complex or complicated, and you need a user-friendly kind of application to create flyers, resumes, or any communications for the different activities that you do, Google Docs is a good option. 90% of users say that Google Docs has enough functions. So the additional Word functions are unnecessary for everyday use if you are just a regular user of Google Docs. Now, if you use an Apple device, whether that is your iPhone or a tablet, iPad, you then can go to your App Store. And that's how you will get to download Google Docs in case you don't have it. When you go to the App Store, which is this symbol right here, the letter A inside that blue square, that's the best way I can describe that icon. It looks like an A to me. You will go to that application and then you will go to the search function on the App Store and type in Google Docs, right? Once you have found the application, this is the icon of the Google Docs application, you can essentially follow the instructions you will be seeing in the screen and get the application. So say that you already installed the application. How do you access Google Docs in different mobile devices that you want to use it? Something very important is that you need a Google account, aka or better known as a Gmail email, right? So if you have a Gmail email, likely you already have gained free access to Google Docs. If you don't have a Gmail account, you can use an existing email from Outlook, Yahoo, AOL to create a Google account, and it will serve you only for the purpose of using Google Docs without having to create a new email. You can sign into the application using your credentials. Once you are signed in, you work and any previous Google type documents will appear and populate the application via the other application called Google Drive. Google Drive has a combination of Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Forms, Google Sheets, and you can have every document depending on the format of the document in one place by using Google Drive, and that is of course related with Google Docs. Now, here is how you create a Google account if you want to create a Google account. I will say that sometimes this is a good idea if you want to access other applications for free other than Google Docs only. So for example, you have an application that allow you to create surveys. You have an application that allow you to create like a phone directory. You have Google Docs that allow you to create different things such as recipes. So all these applications, if you have a Google account, you can access them for free. You don't need to pay for a subscription. Essentially, you need to go to the link accounts.google.com. And I'm gonna repeat this again. This is in the case that you don't have an account, but would like to create one to access for free the services that Google offers. Google has a lot of applications that you can use for free. It will look similar to what you see in this screenshot right here, right? There will be an option at the bottom that says create account, and then you will have to input the email, right? And then you will have to select the purpose of your account, whether it's for personal use, work, or business. If you are using this for a business purpose, you can do this by selecting that option. Then you will have to input your first name, last name, and likely some basic information. The screen will guide you as you start inputting information in. Right, this is more of the options we've been discussing of. So the whole thing about creating an account, in case you don't know. If you already have an existing email and you want to use that email to access Google Docs, you can select an option that is called use your existing email. Meaning if you have an account from Outlook, Yahoo, AOL, you can select this option right here using existing email. Then you will type in that email account from any other provider other than Gmail. And then once you do that, they will send you a code to that email, and you essentially can access from that server into Google. So for example, here, I was using my Outlook email, right? And they send a verification code to my Outlook email. So I verify that email. And I will use this account only to use Google Docs. It means I cannot receive messages on this account. It's only for the purpose of using applications created with Google if a Gmail address is required. So you have in all cases the next option, which is to take you to the next function. And once you complete the previous process successfully, you will have a full Google account to access Docs, Drive, Calendar, and many more services. The advantages of these are access all Google services except for the Gmail email, because you will need to create a Gmail account if you want to have a Gmail email. If you are accessing anything but Gmail, you don't need to have an email from Gmail. It seems like I jumbled that part. Okay, so in this case, keep in mind that you have 15 gigabytes free drive storage. So you have all this space to create different documents that perhaps you might need to create, and you can edit and share these documents in the application. So using a Gmail account makes accessing Google Docs much easier. The options, of course, vary from viewing, sharing documents to collaborating, or files that can be marked as offline if you don't have internet access for later use. Now, when you open Google Docs, if you already have opened any document that uses a Google Doc format, your device, whether it's your iPhone or iPad, will list some of the things you have opened with that application. So you might have a list of choices already here, and you can edit by pressing any of the names you see listed in the application once you open Google Docs. Okay, this is the part that you can contribute by typing in the chat or unmuting if you know the answer. So we are going to take a look at the most common buttons and functions by guessing what each icon does and what area the icon belongs to. So let's see that. Okay, so who knows what is this for? You can type your answer in the chat, or you can unmute yourself. Alex will help me with that and let us know. So what do you think this
is how
for?
You find the document that you want to edit.
Yeah, is how you find the document you want to edit. And this can be used in other ways, such as in your email. Sometimes you will see search in the email. You can use this to find emails as well. Sometimes you can use this in a computer. The computer will have a search bar and you can type there whatever you are looking in your computer. So thank you for that. I don't know who answered, but that was a very good answer. All right. So these options, search in Docs, essentially allow users to look for files created on the application. This will be useful when your Google Docs is much more populated with files and you want to find a specific files quickly, right? So if you start creating documents and you don't know what a document is exactly, you can come to the search in Docs, write the name of the document or write the name you think the document has, and it will find that document for you. Okay, what about this? Who knows what is this for? Any takers?
Yeah,
It's your
Miss
different.
Denise?
Yeah, it's your different
the, it,
docs that you have, where you
Okay.
find your trash, where you find your settings.
There you are.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Good. The other gentleman that wanted to talk, you had something else to say? Okay. I think you were okay with what the first person said. Okay, let me show this. Okay. So the three horizontal lines located usually in the top left corner of the Google Documents application allow users to see the following. So you can see recent, which are the recent documents you have been working on. Start, any documents that you have marked as a start just to access them quickly. Share with me any documents that other people have shared with you via the Google Docs application or the Google Drive application. Offline, if you mark any documents as offline, so when you don't have internet, you can go there and you can access your offline documents. Spam, if you have received any documents that somehow have information that could be, compromising or perhaps not important or relevant or harm you in any way, likely would be in a spam, like similar to the email. Trash, if you have deleted any documents from Google Docs. Google Drive, to access anything that you have in the Google Suite system. Settings, has the person who shared their answer with us, is to change things related to Google Docs. And if you want help or need feedback about the use of the application, this is for this purpose. These horizontal three lines can be found in other things. For example, if you use Gmail and you press in these horizontal lines, instead of seeing some of these options, you will see options related with the operation of your email, such as inbox, right? Also, you will see spam, you will see trash, you will see draft, right? Essentially, they are an indicative of a hidden menu. When you click on them, they will reveal that hidden menu. Okay, what about this one right here? Who knows the answer?
To add a new document.
Okay, to add a new document. I love it. Yes, so let's see. Okay, so the plus sign that you commonly will find in the bottom right corner, like similar to where the location is here, you will find at the bottom right corner if you are using a mobile device, is something that you can use to create a new document. Whenever you see a plus sign online, likely is to edit or create something new. And of course, in Google Docs is not the exception, right? So if I were to press in the plus sign in Google Documents when I'm using the application, I can choose to create from a already made template, meaning there is already something created and I just have to choose from the already created template. Or if I want to start a new document, essentially a blank page, I can use that option. And very good. I love when you guys interact, so just keep it up, please. Okay, I explained this one, but essentially, choose template can be used for you to pick up things that are already made in the application. So I hope that you guys can see at the left side, you have a list of different templates that the application Google Docs already have. I don't know how many of you are looking for a job or have a family that is looking for a job, or perhaps need some of these templates at any point, but Google Docs has it created already, so you can just pick from the choices you have here. So you have resumes, letters, education. If you need something particular, these names at the very top of each of the templates indicates what kind of document you are gonna find in this section, right? So templates, to be more precise, are a master copy that you can use as a starting point for new documents. Once you sign into your Google account, you can access your templates from the Google Docs application on your mobile device, whether that is your iPad, iPhone, or perhaps you have an Android. You can do that from your Android device as well. There is no limit as to how many templates you can save in Google Docs. As soon as you have enough storage, remember it's 15 gigabytes, you should be able to create your documents. Okay, you can elaborate on this one if you want. So what do you think this function is for? Any takers?
New document.
New document. So what is a new document?
Something that you're about to create
Yeah.
and
Would
have
you
not done
find-
before.
You have not done it before. Very good. That is exactly it. So when you select the option new document, so a new document is a file you work on and edit directly. Likely that document should be blank at that very point because there is no information you have input yet. When you do that and you press a new document, you will have to give the new document a name. What happens if you don't give that new document a name? You see what it's saying here? Can everybody see this? It says untitled document, meaning if you don't give documents that you create a name, likely you will see untitled document number 1, untitled document number 2, untitled document number 3. So is it important to give the document a name?
Yes.
Yes, because you will find them easier once you have given them a name. Okay. What are the following steps if you see this prompt on the screen while using Google Docs? So what do you need to do? Who knows?
Create.
Yeah, you will hit create, but you need to do something else. Okay, so
Type in the name of a new document.
Right.
exactly, yes, you
Right.
need to type the name of the new document because here it's just selected, right? It
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you have changes. So you need to type in the name of the document. And that's exactly what you do before you actually hit create. You will give the document a name, right? Oftentimes you can use that little X inside a tiny box in your keyboard to delete whatever is in there and type in the name. Or sometimes because you select the letters, if the letters are selected like here, you can simply start typing and it will place the name instead of untitled document. And once you have done that, you will hit create, right? This is the key that I was mentioning before that you will use to delete the word untitled document if you want to name the document differently. Okay, once you have given your document a name and want to start typing, where should you press to bring up your keyboard on the screen? So pay attention to the image on the
pencil.
right side. The pencil, what is the pencil located?
On the right side.
On the
lower.
bottom right side, yes, that's correct. So I will tap the pencil. As in any other application, even in your email, if you see this shape, the shape of a pencil or paper anywhere on the screen, that is often an indication that you can write. And when you tap on that function, your keyboard or touch screen keyboard will show up so you can start typing the information that you want to input in your document. All right. Once you see your cursor or mouse blinking on the page, you can use your touchscreen keyboard. Here is the touchscreen keyboard to type information on your document as usual in any word processing application if you are using a smartphone. If you are using a computer, likely you will use your physical computer. But for small devices or mobile devices, the the keyboard is often displayed here, unless you have some other keyboard attached to your device. Okay, so let's keep going. Now, we have 5 functions here. You can guess what the functions do and let me know each of them. So you have the arrow pointing back, arrow pointing right, plus sign, underline A, and the 3 dots. So who wants to name all of them or one of them?
Reply backwards, reply, or go back.
Okay, reply or go back. The reply would be more for email. This will go back. Okay, what about this one?
Forward.
Okay, let's call it forward. We already
Add
went
a,
over
add a
this.
letter or number.
Yeah, add something.
Mhm.
What about the A? That is,
Application.
that would be, yeah, formatting. And the 3 dots,
Settings or menu.
settings or menu. Very good.
Menu. Yeah.
Yes. So let's see them, okay?
Okay.
So you have here. So the one indicating back, somebody mentioned to go back. Yes. In the Google Documents, if we were talking about the Google Documents specifically, is to undo an action. Meaning you write something down, but you actually didn't mean to. You can use that to undo that action. Whether that is deleting some of the written text you have or removing an image you insert in the document. Is that clear or is confusing?
No, it's clear.
Okay, so this one is to undo the action of this one. So if you actually did not make a mistake and you want to redo or go forward, as the gentleman mentioned before, go forward in an action, you will use that. So if you delete something after you said, oh, I actually want it, you can redo. It will go back to what you did before. The plus sign, when you tap in the plus sign, then you will add something new, create something new, such as you can insert links, comments, images, tables, or lines, right? So that is what the plus is for. The A, I don't remember what Miss Ann said, but this is for formatting text, to modify the text. So you can modify the style. What is the letter you are going to use, right? The font, the size of the font, and the
Mhm.
color of the letter. So this circle right here, can you see the circle at the bottom? What
Mhm.
color is that circle?
Black.
If the circle was blue, what it means?
Means your lettering will be blue.
Exactly. So that circle is the indication of the color your letter is gonna be based on what the color is indicated there. Okay, and the 3 dots, the gentleman and somebody else mentioned that is for extra options, right? For settings, and that is correct. So when you press in the 3 lines, you can decide if you want to print the document. The layout of the document is often associated with whether the document is going horizontally or vertically. So you can decide that by using this.
Mhm.
If you want the document or the application Google to give you changes that are better for the document, right? You can use the option suggest changes. If you want a document outline, meaning the summarizing of the document, you can go here. If you want to replace words in the document because you want to use the document for multiple purposes. So say, for example, it's a contract and the contract has my name, Annie, but now Annie's gonna use it. So I can go and find all the times that my name Annie is, and I can replace it for Anne, right?
Oh,
And I
okay.
can repurpose the document, okay? You also
Mhm.
have something is called word count. So if you are a writer, sometimes the word count is very important because it's telling you how many words or
50
how many
words
pages.
or more. Yeah.
Exactly, there you are. You guys know a lot, much more than me actually. The page setup is the spaces in the lateral sides of the page, right, left, upper,
Mhm.
down, right?
Like the margin.
Details, the margins, that is the actual technical word for that,
margin.
the margins, yes. Details is associated with details of the document, when it was created, when it was modified, who has
Okay.
participated in the document.
Mhm.
Share and export allow you to share with other people or export it into a different type of format. It can be, for example, from Google Docs to PDF. Sometimes if you are sending a document to somebody and you don't want the person to modify it, you can export it to be a PDF. And help and feedback if you need the application to give you any sort of insight when you created a document, you will be clicking here. And also, if you want to make the document available offline, so you can work in the document when there is no internet, you can click on this, it's like a toggle bar, and a start file if you want that file to have some sort of relevancy in your folders so you can find it easier. Okay, so that is an overview of that. Okay, we are getting complicated in the sense of what the buttons are, but just educated guess as to what each of these are. Many of you can say multiple, or you can say the one that you know. So
Bold,
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 italic,
okay, italic,
Italics,
Yeah.
underline.
underline,
strike through.
Yes,
strike through. What is
Uh-huh.
this?
Underline.
No,
No.
The text modification.
The text
Format.
modification, but if there is a particular text modification indicated by that line at the bottom.
Underline.
No.
Capital
Capital.
A.
No,
Capital.
so you see
Format.
how the color
Capital.
is black? Remember the
Uh-huh.
circle
It's
that was black?
bold.
No. It's
No.
associated with the
Bold.
color of the letter. The
It's
letter.
The font.
Oh.
Yes.
Oh, black.
Font and the
color
type
of
of
the letter.
letter.
Font.
Font.
Yes, the color of the letter. The
Okay.
color of the letter. This is to
I don't know what that is.
highlight the letter.
Oh, highlighting. Okay.
Yes. What
Oh.
about this one right here?
That's the way you want your text
A left
to be, to the
margin.
left.
Yeah, that's
Left
no
mark.
margin, orientation, right? Margin is,
Orientation.
yes, orientation.
Mhm.
Margin is associated to the spaces on the laterals of the page and the bottom and top. This is orientation because based on the orientation you choose, the text is gonna be oriented in that way. So this is what?
Left
To the left.
Yeah, this
Center.
is
Center.
Yes, centered.
And that's
Centered.
Right.
to the right.
right,
to the
yeah.
Margin.
And what are those?
Those are bullet points.
Yes, they are
1, 2,
bullet points.
3.
These are check marks. These
Uh-huh.
are dots and these are
Or
numbers.
numbers. Okay.
Yes. What about this one?
Indentation.
This is called indentation, meaning when
Oh,
you
it's
click on
more.
it, the letter is gonna go
Indent,
inside a little
yeah.
bit more.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
So this is actually to make the letter go less inside, and this is more inside. So because this is left and this is right.
Right. Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay.
Let's see it in detail. So for those of you who were trying to make sense of it, now here we have explanations. So let's start with the B, bold letters,
Bold,
right?
Yeah.
Italic,
Color.
underline,
Underline.
strike through letters.
Through
And here the line is, you see the colors?
colors. Yeah.
Yeah, you see how it shows the different
Highlights?
squares?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
based on when you tap, this line here will change the color as you tap in either of the colors,
Uh-huh.
right? And this here
Well,
is to highlight the letters. You see?
Mhm.
It
Yes.
seems like the letter has some sort of shade in the
Yes.
back of it.
Yes.
So that is highlighting. Much like
Mhm.
if you were to use like a highlighter, the
Yes.
yellow ones,
Yes.
you highlight the letter just to have some sort of
Mhm.
relevancy.
Yes.
Yes. So here is text orientation. So that's
Orientation.
center, left, and
Mhm.
right.
Amen.
And
Yeah.
here we have bullet. This is actually
Bullet.
to create checklist, right? This one right here. Who knows what is a checklist?
Like if you want to make sure you cover a item, you
Yeah,
say
don't
Yeah.
miss anything.
check.
Everything you need to do.
It's like a list.
A list, yes, of all
I
the things
write
that you
down
need to do
things
to
that I
create.
need. And as
Mhm.
I put them in the card, I check mark them,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
that is what it does here. So as
Mhm.
you do things, you check
Check
mark
it
them,
off.
indicating that you have taken
That-
care of that particular
Yeah.
portion.
Yeah.
Yeah. So bullet points can be either the dot or the numbers. So if
Mhm.
you are trying to line up, for example, I can say that Miss Anne is smart
First thing, yes.
and is beautiful, right? I'm bullet point the different qualities that she has.
Yeah.
And the indentation, so you have the
Mm.
left, the crease, and the right is to increase indentation.
Mhm.
Are we clear?
Yes.
This
Yes.
is an overview. I hope that you
Uh-huh.
guys, kind of like the overview. Okay, so what is this for?
The check
Takes you
mark?
out.
The check mark checks you out. I like
Takes you out.
that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, yes. So every single time you make a change on Google Docs, and some applications actually these days, they are safe as you edit the document, right? And whenever you see the check mark, it's an indication that the last change you made has been saved, okay? However, at any case, if you want to kind of close the editing function, you can then click on that check mark, and
Yeah.
it usually
In
in the
the-
upper left corner, and is
Mhm.
exiting the
Mhm.
editing mode, okay?
Mm.
All right. And now here is another question. What option from this menu do you think will allow you to share your document with other people? So you
Share
click
and
share and
export.
export. Yes. So let's see that. Okay. So when you press the option share and export, this is what you will see. It's not only to share with people, but to do different things in your document. Okay. So the
Mhm.
first option we have listed here is share.
Mhm.
The second option is manage access. So manage access is related with share because essentially you can decide how people will access your document. So do you want people to edit the document, or just to view your document, or simply leave your comments in your document? Okay.
Mhm.
You have something is copy link. Every single time you create a Google document, you have a link to be able to find it. So if you are sharing with another person, you send them the link and they will be able to find it by the means of clicking the link, right? Now, if you don't want to share or people to view the original document, you can send them what?
A copy. A
A
copy.
copy, yes, that's what it is. If you want to print it because your device is connected to a printer, or perhaps you have access to a printer, you will go to what?
Print.
Print. Yes, and if you want to save it as a Word document instead of a Google document, perhaps you use Word instead of Google, you can select save as Word, sorry.
Mhm.
And here, this is similar to this. This is to send a copy to the person, and this is to make a copy of the document. So for example, you already have a document, right? And you want to make a copy of the same document, but you just want to modify certain things in the second copy.
Yes,
You can
yes.
you can make a copy of that.
Mhm.
Okay, is that clear for everybody?
Yeah.
Yeah. Send and make.
Yeah.
And here we have the different ways you can share a
May I ask a question?
edit. Essentially, it gives the shared users full read and writing access to the document, meaning they can modify the documents like if they were the owner. The comment option allows users to leave comments but not modifying the document. So if you don't want people to modify the document, perhaps you took a lot of time to create the document, you only want them to comment, so you can do the modifications yourself, you let them comment. And if you don't want neither them to edit or leave your comments, you just want them to view your document, no modification, no comments whatsoever, you can let them what? View it. You can let them view the document.
Yeah. View it only. Yes.
Exactly. Okay. So here's a couple of tips when using Google Docs. So to select written text on your documents, you can tap and hold on the screen. And this can be used in many other instances. Whenever you have text, for example, if you are looking something online, you can tap and hold, and the text can be selected to do what? To copy and paste, right? To add a comment or add an emoji reaction. So similar to what I just mentioned in Google Docs, you can select the text to do different things. You see the options here? So depending on what you want to do, you can do. So pasting would be to paste something you have copied from another place and would paste in Google Docs. Select if you want to select a part of the document. Select all is to select every single thing in the what?
Document.
In the document. add a comment if you select that option to add a particular comment on that section, and add a emoji reaction if you have some sort of reaction to that selection you have made. Okay, is that making sense?
Yes.
Okay. Another tip is, for example, say that you are intending to take your tablet or perhaps your cell phone, and you will be in an area that is not too known to have a good connection. You can still work in a document on Google Docs using the option available offline, and it will allow you to work on your documents without having an internet connection. And when you go back to your internet connection, you can, have those changes saved. Essentially, it works like a toggle bar. A toggle bar is a like a switch kind of button. When you tap, it activates. When you tap, it deactivates. Usually, it's activated or deactivated because the color changes. So, for instance, here is the one at the bottom is activated or deactivated?
It's activated.
At the bottom.
Deactivated.
Oh,
Deactivated,
deactivated.
yes.
Deactivated.
Yeah.
No,
The one at the
right.
top is activated or
Activated.
deactivated?
Yes. Activated.
Why?
It's blue.
It's blue, exactly. It has a color in it, means it's activated, and the second one is not activated because it does not have a color, right? All right. Any changes you make sync with something is called Google Drive. So your Google Drive, I hope that you all can see at the right side. This is not Google Docs, this is Google Drive. So Google Docs is only in particular for what application? Google Docs. However, Google Drive has many formats from different applications. So for instance here, this is a Google Doc. How do I know? Because the icon on the left is a page in a blue color.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so this one right here is a Google Slides. How do I know? Because the little square is kind of yellow, orangey looking, right? So that is the icon for Google Slides. Here is a picture. Why do I know it's a picture? Because it has that little red square. For me, that looks like a tiny mountain. And that usually indicates that is a image. So in your Google Drive, based also on the things you receive via your Gmail application, you could see many different kind of formats, right? And whenever you open Google Drive, you will find your Google Docs and any other documents you have received via your email, people have shared with you, things of that nature. Any questions here? Any questions? We're good? Okay. Okay, so that is it. Thank you so much for listening. If you would like to learn this lesson with a Cyber Seniors mentor, you can go to our website to book a one-on-one call or call directly to the 844-217-3057 and register for a one-on-one phone session. If you are a person who has a lot of questions or would like to have some answer for the technology questions, you can join our tech drop-in sessions on Zoom from 2 to 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Thursday at this time. Okay? Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. I hope you enjoyed the presentation today.
Oh, thank you so much, Annie. You did that thing today. I appreciate it so much. Just yes, please, if you don't mind putting that slide back up, just in case folks have assistance,
Yeah.
they can definitely call that number. Of course, we have our help desk here, but another resource or another way to receive help is always amazing. So make sure you take a screenshot or write the information down if you like more assistance. And that's not just with iPads, but other devices as well. So,
Yeah.
they're very open to a lot of different things. So, any questions for Annie about the Google Docs? Anything that we went over? Any questions, please raise your hand in Zoom. Again, I put the Google Docs app here in the chat. So if you haven't used it before, check it out, especially if you do have a Gmail, as Annie said. But if you don't have one, then it's really easy to create within the app. Any questions or comments for Annie today. But again, you did a great job. I loved your presentation.
Wonderful. I am glad that you like it.
All right, we got some hands. Again, any hands? Any questions? Please raise your hand in Zoom for Annie. We got Miss Wilda first. Thank you so much.
Praise the Lord. Hi, Annie, and thank you so much for
Hi.
this. This is certainly the kind of training that I enjoy. And when the next time you come on, would you mind us actually creating a document? Now that I know how to use them, all of the functions, if it's at all possible, the next time you come on, could we actually create, just maybe do a resume or just create a welcome letter or something of that nature and use those functions. Then I remember in the menu at the top up there were two, one of them that says, I guess it was talking, it meant how it can automatically do I want it to make changes or suggestions.
Yeah, so
And the one above it, I can't remember what it was. It was one above it.
I'm
And I
trying to
noticed those were
remember.
not highlighted. Would
Yeah.
you, especially the one that creates suggestions, and when I said about suggestions, do you think that is useful for us to have those two turned on? I noticed in your presentation they were not.
I know what you're referring to. You're referring to the print layout and suggest
Yes.
changes.
Yes.
I don't think they are necessarily useful or not useful. I think it based on what you are creating. So the layout based on the kind of document you are creating would change. So for example, some things may look that can benefit from horizontal instead of vertical. And
Okay.
if
Yes,
you
I
have that
understand.
activated, it would suggest that.
Okay, and the next one?
And suggest changes, it depends on, again, on what you are working with. Sometimes it would be related to grammar, right?
Yes,
if there is
that's what I was
something,
talking about. Grammar,
yeah,
spell check.
yeah.
Is all. Would that
you
be
can
in there?
active. Yeah, I believe so.
Yes, that
Yeah.
would be useful for me to turn on. All right, thank you.
Yeah, just keep in mind that some of those things I could not have it activated is because in that particular document I did not need
Certainly.
it, but you can always have it on and see what happened, explore it, and if it did not
Yes.
work or you don't see any use, deactivate it.
Yeah. Yes. I thought the one that suggests changes for me would be important because my spelling is not the greatest all the time.
Yeah,
So thank you again.
no problem. Alrighty, Bill.
Thank you again for the question.
Yes.
Mr. Bill, you have a question for Annie today?
Yes, you can copy and paste that document to your email and send it.
Yeah, you can copy and paste the documents to your email. You remember how we had the option that says send copy? Remember that?
Yes.
So if you use the option send copy, it will take that document and it will send it in the way that you do. When you select send copy, it will give you the option to the different applications you can send that copy with or has, and you can choose your email server from there.
Yeah. Also, you mentioned if you don't have good internet connection, if you have an old phone, does it make a difference if you because it doesn't have G5?
No.
In the network, or it doesn't make any difference?
No, it's actually it might, because for example, if you don't have G5 in your old phone, you might experience some internet issues. So if the area you are going, is reducing the terms of the signals you will be receiving, you might want to use offline. But yeah, you make an interesting point actually. I wouldn't think of that, but yeah.
I mean, if you're utilizing the app and you're on it, then, I would say you're good to go, Mr. Bill. I'd definitely check out the app and see what you can do, okay?
Usually what happens when you are offline is that the document is displayed when you are offline and you have use offline. When you are offline and that option when you don't have internet and the option offline is not selected, it will say there is an error with your document.
Okay.
Is that making sense?
It makes a lot of sense. I was just also curious whether I need to get a new phone because I'm offline a lot, and I was trying to figure out whether I need a new phone or whether I should would make any difference if I delete some apps and to make a better connection.
No, the apps are not associated to better connection. It's more so to storage. I know that in the United States right now, after I think July something, the cell phones that don't have access to 5G will lose a significant quality of reception. So I don't know what your finances are. If you can afford, if you can afford a new, look for a refurbished cell phone. Like a refurbished, it doesn't have to be new. There is a lot of, I don't buy new, to be honest with you. I don't buy new phones. I find a good refurbished phone and I use them. And I make sure that the qualities the other phone did not have, the refurbished phone that I'm purchasing, they do have it.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Again,
that
Mr. Bill, I
helps.
think you're on Zoom right now on your phone. So, you know, you seem to have good connection. So again, check out the app and see if you can access it. And then you can go over some of the features that Annie talked about today. Okay. So I would try it out to see what happens versus not, not thinking about it too much. You got to do it. So then you'll know,
Okay.
So you got this, Mr. Bill. Check out the link in the chat. Okay.
Okay. Oh, that's another thing. I don't know how to get the link from the chat.
Well, yes, Mr. Bill, if you go in your toolbar, you'll see all the options for the chat and the hands. Just like you raised your hand today, make sure you take a look at that toolbar, okay? So you got this. Make sure you check out that toolbar. Any other questions? But again, thank you so much, Annie, for your session today. We really appreciate it.
Of course.
It's great to have a Google account. You have access to many different things, applications, and
Yeah. Even if you don't have a Gmail, you can always use an existing email, which is kind of neat. Yeah. Any questions? I see Miss Wilma Tyne. I don't know if I'm saying the name correctly. I apologize if it's wrong, but I thought she had a question, Alex.
No, I don't. Again, make sure you raise your hands. Do you have a
Yeah.
question? If you please raise your hands.
I know she's talking, but yeah, she's muted.
Oh, okay. I really appreciate again you coming on, Annie. And again, please make sure. I hope you guys took that Cyber Seniors number down. If you have any, questions, like mostly like non-Apple devices, please give us a call. Especially with your iPads, but any other devices, even with your iPad. If you need a second opinion or just want to talk to someone new and get a different perspective, give Cyber Seniors a call, and they're there to help. Okay. Make sure you all stay on for our poll. But Annie, thank you so much for coming on. We can't wait to see you next month in July. I think it will be the day before 4th of July. So we're gonna end our week off that week with you. And we look forward to that so much.
Thank you so much for having me. I hope everybody's having a good day and have a good day. Take care, everybody. Thank you for having me. It's very nice when you participate and you are on.
Thank you very much, Annie. That was very informative.
Thank you,
Annie.
thank you, everybody. I'm glad you guys
Thank you,
liked it.
Annie. Thank you, Annie.
Take care,
Bye.
everybody.
Take care.
Bye. See you next time.
Good,
Bye,
Annie.
everybody.
For that
Bless you
fingernail
next
polish,
time.
Annie.
Be safe.
Thank